morning and welcome to Trading with Larry. Larry Benedict, joined by Eric Shamilov. It's a little early where I'm at, 6:44 a.m. Been up for a while watching the markets, and today is Chart Tuesday. We like to rhyme here at Trading with Larry. We're going to go through a lot of charts today, but before we get rolling, you know, I just cannot believe. I know we talked a little, Nasdaq is touching correction territory, but I hate, when we're in correction territory and the market's up, almost double digits, or it is double digits for the year. So I don't really say it's telling. The one thing that I've taken out of the last 2 days of trading is 99% of the action is happening in Nasdaq. Both up and down every single day, casino wheel. I'm short some upside S&P. I hope I'm safe today, but it's about 50 up from here. I thought I was really safe, but now that the market's turned positive in S&P for the morning, I'm a little bit nervous because, maybe the S&P is going to completely outperform the Nasdaq, on a big way. And the earnings, like I saw Coke's earnings, etc., have been fairly good. Basically on all line industrials. And if you look at like market caps, which we talk about every day, you got these big companies trading at a couple of $100 billion market caps, where all these technology stocks are 4 trillion, 5 trillion, 3 trillion. So this is the trade. At some point today, I believe they're going to come to buy the Nasdaq and leave the S&P at some point, because this trade, even from yesterday morning to today, first of all, Friday it went 1%. Yesterday it went 0.5%. S&P was up yesterday. Nasdaq was down about 200. Today, same type of thing. You're out a couple of percent. So, at some point today, I'm looking to put that back the other way. I'm hoping the S&P doesn't rip my lung out. And I'll throw it to you for your thoughts, and then I'd like to pull up an overlay of Nasdaq S&P. Definitely for the year.
Sure. First thing I guess we should do is take a look at the daily Nasdaq, and when we talk about correction territory, I think semantics are important to look at. So, how do you look at whether we're in a correction? The technical correction is 10% from the highest close to the lowest close, right? If you look at it that way, the Nasdaq is down 8.6% from its highest close till yesterday's close. However, if you look at it from intraday high to intraday low, which is the way I look at it, we basically hit 9.75% drawdown, peak to trough, yesterday, and the Nasdaq is now opening up probably around 75 basis points down or 50 basis points down. So do you look at this like an actual correction, or is
No.
semantics at play here?
No, not a correct. I mean, listen, it's a technical correction or around the correction, but listen, I know people have thrown a lot of things into looking at the market, and so many more players and so many more things. But the way I look at a 10% correction is down 10%. People losing. No one's, people have given up profits here for sure. Okay, but nobody's losing. There, you can't really find it unless, listen, the ants are losing. The algorithm, I think, is blown to smithereens. I mean, what's really weird to me is this morning I wanted to look at different stocks, and you can pull them up. Like, I believe Meta's up, Amazon's up, Microsoft was up. There were like 5 or 6 really big names up, decent size. And then you look at MU, down like every day. It's either up 50 or down 50, and it's down 50, and that has more weight than these real names that are, I'm not going to call them old line, but like Micron isn't even anything. I'm just telling you, it's nothing. It's a it's a single chip company. Microsoft has 50 businesses. I bet Apple is Apple up today. Can you check it out?
Yeah, hold on. Apple is. Uh, 1 second.
You need me to look at it?
Hold on.
All
Yeah,
right.
Apple's up 70 basis points today.
Right, I'm just saying. So you got, Apple's the biggest company in the world right now. It just passed Nvidia overnight, and it's up basically $2.50. Now, what's going to happen is, which is such a sick, thing with the algorithm, is as soon as Micron or Nvidia starts to rally, that stock will sell off. Why that happens, I don't know. But we're in an algorithmic mess. They the algo wants to smash Nasdaq. It has it's learned. I think the algo has learned. It has the ability to move Nasdaq, as 50 points in 2 seconds, right? So why bother with the S&P when you can jimmy jam? Since we've been on the podcast, Nasdaq just fell 40 points. Not a lot in Nasdaq world, but this is what they do. They just jimmy jam the market. They can run it. I mean, yesterday is a prime example. I'm gonna use your phrase, rug pull. That literally
There you go.
the Nasdaq was up 450 points within 10 minutes of the opening. It was down. It went down 600 points, literally in 20 minutes of trading or less. 600 points is almost 3%. So it went down like 2.5% on the opening. I mean, this is the and then it ended, down on the day, but not too far from unchanged. I think the algo is getting smoked. Um, I think today, if they actually reverse this trade, which I'm not doing anything in it yet, but I'm hoping that they do it to the algo, that they smoke, that they basically smoke these guys and blow the Nasdaq up, and not sell the S&P, because I don't think they'll do that, but just not buy the S&P. Again, I don't know if that will happen. It's a computer trade, but
Well,
Nasdaq.
technically, I could I could see the setup for that. Here's the Nasdaq S&P overlay. This is the ratio of the Q to the SPY, and it's been a pretty smooth downtrend from an index level. I think where you particularly, and correct me if I'm wrong, what you don't like about this market is the way that it's falling. Because, and I want to ask you, do you think the market is acting rationally right now? Because everything that you have been looking for is happening. You have the Nasdaq dropping, right? You have the S&P outperforming. You have the equally weight making new highs, which is another question. Do you think the equally weight index is getting a little bit, you know, algorithmically driven to the upside
Well, I
as
think
they're
uh,
investing?
I think everyone's in that trade. We're in that trade at the Opportunistic Trader. If you're a subscriber here, we are long that trade. We're long RSP, the equally-weighted S&P. Been doing well. We got to look at this, but we're probably going to come out of this for trade shortly, if not even this morning. I have to talk to Clint, see where we're at, see if it makes sense. But listen, this trade may keep going, but I don't my thing is, I don't understand right into earnings. Are they just scared of the earnings tonight? Like, who's tonight? I don't know who's tonight. I think it's. Do you have a schedule of the earnings?
Yeah, I could pull that up. I could pull that up. But
I
go
know
ahead.
Amazon,
While you're
Meta,
talking, I'll pull that up.
etc. Are coming. Listen, I don't know what's going to be today. Again, I just hope they don't blow up the S&P on me. I'll have to make moves. I shorted that. But again, I have room. But if you look at the trading, like,
Seagate is going to be interesting tonight. STX. That's
hmm,
a big hardware name.
yeah, I listen. I don't know what's going on.
From the AI side, I think that's the biggest one reporting today. It's
But
going to
I
be
just think Micron moves the market more than any stock. It's crazy. And bid offer in Micron is $30. Like if you really wanted to buy Micron stock, in any kind of size, you have to pay up like 4%, 3%. I mean, there's no liquidity and these stocks are $800. Why we have so many stocks that are 1,000, 800, 600, five, like I guess that just helps these crazy, algo guys just manipulate the market. Like,
well. Well, why do you think Mike? Why do you think hardware was down this week? To me, it was, and I want to go back to the moonshot news from a couple of Fridays ago. That news set off a rotation where they were selling Mag Sevens
is
and buying
Moonshot
hardware.
even a real company? Is it like that other thing, DeepSeek? Whatever happened to DeepSeek?
Yeah, but
Where's
that was a direct. The news there was a direct assault on the margins of hyperscalers. The news yesterday coming out of China, which I believe caused the rug pull. It was a company in China that reported that they're beginning mass production of its own immersion DUV lithography machines, and that's basically the machines that make the semiconductors. So like ASML dropped, and all the rest of hardware dropped. So the moonshot news caused a 1 week rotation into hardware at a Mag 7. The news yesterday caused a rotation back out of hardware and into Mag 7. So from that point of view, I mean, the news kind of fits the action.
All right, but let's just step away from that for a second. That's just algorithmic mess, okay? And these algos, I guarantee you, are getting blown to smithereens, okay? They're getting hurt. But let's look at weird, something weird, okay? Oil
Well,
dropped over.
before you get into it, my point is that yeah, the market is heavily rotating every 72 hours, but when you step back, it kind of like it's kind of rational in a way. They're reacting to news, and then the momentum
No,
outcome
the
takes
news
over.
on this company is BS. Okay, you're not even going to hear about this company in a week.
I
Okay,
think you're going to hear
you're the only guy
more and
talking
more
about
and more about competition in AI. I think that's what is really
it.
happening
Dude,
under the
and
hood.
there'll
So
be tons of competition. There's competition making chips, and we're still crushing it. There's competition all over the world. Let's look at a market that's insane, and we talked about it early on, and maybe a little of this Nasdaq unwind, which doesn't make a lot of sense, is this Korean ant farm trading complex that literally got obliterated last night. And the KOSPI is back at levels it was at in April. It's not only gone down, it has gotten annihilated. It's almost literally down 40 plus percent. It was down 10 last night. I mean, what the hell is that? What is that? The thing traded over 9,000. It traded under 6,000. The
here's
whole
the
move is,
Cosby right there.
I know, the whole move has almost been taken out.
Is the
What are
U.S.
they
market
like?
next?
What?
Is the U.S. market next, Larry? Like, do you think this correction, like we're in correction territory? Do you think are we going to just
You
bounce off
said
that level
you
like we
said
did?
we're dude. First of all, you're measuring a correction like in insanity. You're measuring like the high tick that we didn't even close at to
It's
the
all
low tick
semantics.
that we traded at. Okay, I mean,
You could be vaguely right. You could be vaguely right or precisely wrong. So all of these exact measures of what a correction is,
well,
and
okay, so we're in a correction. Okay, let's just hypothetically say we're in a correction. What does that mean? What do you
but
do?
we're in a correction only in the Nasdaq. We're not. Like, I actually think the equally weighted index needs a little bit of scrutiny here. Like, I know everybody's piling into that, but why? Like, what is the reason? Is
Well,
it just to get
it
away
kind
from
of,
the Nasdaq?
listen, no, listen, Nasdaq has run a lot. These broken old line companies are just so undervalued. Either they're undervalued massively, or these other companies are just insane. So it's either one of those two. I'm not exactly sure which one. But here's the thing. You got Nvidia at 4.5 trillion or 4.6 trillion, whatever, some crazy number. Okay. And you got Boeing at like 100 billion. I mean, you got companies trading like a tenth or less of the size of these companies. Like, dude, Nvidia moves a Boeing every day, 5 Boeings. I mean, it's crazy. Yesterday, it went down 5%. I mean, this is what we have here. So, you know,
I
I,
got a couple of questions for you from the chat, real quick. This is a fun one. I love this question, and thank you guys for. I have the same question. Larry, why aren't you saying that you called this correction?
why?
Yeah, why?
I know because I say a lot of things. I mean, I definitely was looking for this
You were
correction.
looking. I know why. Because, yeah, the index is dropping, but it's not dropping the way that we as traders like it to drop. We as traders like it to drop. We don't like it to drop piecemeal. We like it to drop wholesale.
I think this has been very wholesale. I mean, the
Really?
Nasdaq's down dude, a week and dude, this down move has happened in 5 days. Pull up a chart. You like intraday charts? Okay, pull up a chart of last week. We traded 30,600. Pull it up on the Nasdaq future. It's trading 27,000. So basically, this whole move pretty much happened in a week from the high. We traded 30,065. I think it might have been last Monday or one of the days last week. So, I mean, that's why. I mean, this has been a very quick down move. So if we
So
go,
another question from the chat. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. Look at this chart. The peak was in early June. We had. So it's just been. I just feel like it's been
you
difficult
cannot
for.
say that. You cannot say that. We've had up 2% Nasdaq days at least 10 times since the peak. Okay, in one day.
All
So
right, I'll classify that under semantics. Another question for you, kind sir. SQQQ, is that still a long? That's the short QQQ.
yeah, I mean, I think it's a long over time. The only problem is on these double and triple leveraged ETFs. They have so much decay because of the option roll, so the purity of it doesn't work well. But when you catch timing like this, it definitely works. But over time, on a trade like that, you need a massive correction.
So
So
here's what I'm worried about staying short just tactically. So my view is over the longer term, maybe a month or two out from here, I think we're going to be down more than 10% off the peak on the NASDAQ. I think we have a way to go for this market to get back into equilibrium. But tactically, what's concerning me, and you're thinking maybe the NASDAQ could rally today as well,
I
but
don't
you're
think
not seeing.
no. I don't know that. Okay. What I'm saying to you is there's no way that the S&P is going to be up 30, 40 points today with the NASDAQ getting crushed. It's just not going to happen. But here's my question. You're very, because you're Johnny Price, you're
Right.
very confident. Okay. That,
Uh-huh.
that, the NASDAQ is going lower. We're about to enter earnings season, okay, which
We're
is
already in earnings season.
no, we've had a couple of earnings, but we're getting the big Mag 7 names later this week. we're getting Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, this one, that. We're getting all of these names later this week, okay, into, next week. And then it all ends with Nvidia, okay? Why are you so confident that earnings aren't going to be there? And if they are there, you're going to be very, very wrong on what's going to happen with the
Oh,
market.
earnings are definitely going to be there, and I'm not saying that we can rally 2, 3, 4, even 5% from here. Again, tactically, look,
Sure,
these
but
are the
then,
Q.
but then you talk about, the trade, dude. Nobody can stay for 5%. Not anyone watching this show right now. If we're wrong by 5%, you're blown to
Well,
smithereens.
I'm looking to play both lanes right now because I think the market is playing both lanes. They're playing the macro lane is running parallel with the AI trade. And I look at this like you're driving on a highway, you have a couple of lanes, you have the macro lane, the AI trade. And, uh, and at some point, I think there's a sign up ahead that says merge up ahead. And we will get that merge where the macro collides with this whole AI situation.
Okay,
I
so
think,
where do you think MU is going? Where do you think Nvidia is a
well, we didn't
hundred?
hit 700 yet on MU. I think that's where it's going as a first
Dude,
stop.
that's 1 day's trade. I mean, come
Okay,
on, you're
but I've
losing
been saying that since it
$70
was
a day.
okay, but I've been saying that since it was
I
1200.
know, but what if we stop at 8:30 and go back to 1100 or 1200? I don't know. What I'm saying is we haven't hit 700. We're at 800, eight whatever. But you want to know what? As much as MU is down today,
Here's MU,
that
by
would
the way.
take it. What?
I'm just pulling as you're talking. I'm pulling up a chart of MU. Here's MU.
No, I mean whatever. I mean, listen.
Yeah, I'm looking at 700. This is the area 700. The 700 handle is that place where I think hype went into overdrive. That's when that analyst from UBS came out and said he has a 1625 target on it, and then all the other sell side
Yeah, but
analysts
that trade
like
is that
flies on
trade.
shit came over it and started upping their ante up over 1650,
Dude,
1700.
that trade left the station. Okay, the people that bought Micron at 5 and 600 doubled their money. If they're stupid enough to stay in it, which many probably are, then you deserve what you get. But the
To me,
ultimate
this gap right here that I'm pointing to, this gap from May 26th, that's a gap that I think should be filled in Micron. But let me ask you a question. These are the Nasdaq. If you're looking up here, these are the QQQ fund flows. Over the last 3 days, as the Nasdaq is dropping, people are putting money into the Qs. What do you make of that?
I mean, listen, I don't know what's going to happen, but I would unwind S&P Q. Okay.
Yeah,
You may
yeah.
have a little bit more in that, but when that thing turns, it blows your head off.
It
So,
blows your head off. Yes.
so
And the spread between the Nasdaq and the S&P, I have this arrow pointing here down at the RSI. I use a 28 period
dude, but
RSI
you've been, listen,
for a
you've
30-minute
been,
chart. Yeah, where that spread is a little bit oversold here.
yeah, I mean,
So
listen, I'm trading it. So we've had it on the right way, but we're going to look to take that thing down. But you're making me lose my focus a little bit because I wanted to discuss
yeah,
a couple of things that is really weird to me. Okay. You come in the week, we're bombing them for 14 days. The market looks horrendous, right? For 14 days. It's choppy, horrible, right? We stop bombing them. Now we're talking. They're probably going to either implement the MOU, which is BS, or they're going to come up with something else, okay, which is very, very bullish, okay? You've had oil drop $10, okay, since basically Sunday night, right? So that they're not looking at any of that. Bonds, which got up to almost 473, have stabilized. They're not good by any means, but they've stabilized. So, like, this is what I've been saying for the last couple of weeks. Like, nothing matters to the market other than the spinning wheel in Nasdaq, and moving Micron 50, 60, $70 every day. Okay. You know, Nvidia's move was insane yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. It dropped $11 in an hour and a half. Okay. This is what you're relying on. You can't rely on this. Did Nvidia go positive? Because we're looking to buy Nvidia for trade. I don't know if it turned positive. I know it was down like $1 or something, but
Nvidia did not turn positive yet, but it's pretty close.
right,
So
that's what I'm saying. So it's like I'm a buyer of that name just for a trade because it's completely oversold. Again, I listen. I don't know who's trading. I don't know. No one's trading. The computer's trading. So like yesterday's opening was incredible. I mean, the Nasdaq literally dropped 500 points in less than 20 minutes. You didn't see that?
I did.
So like now the market's down like 150. That's like chopped liver. That's like nothing. It could be up 300 in an hour. This is what I'm worried about. When you ask what I'm worried about and how, yes, I definitely, I'm not going to say I called it, but I definitely saw this move coming. Okay. But they don't make it easy for me. Like I would flip flop my position right now, but you just have to be right on what the computer is doing, right? It's just a computer. Computer could come out of the gate selling, could come out of the gate buying. You don't know what this computer is going to do. The only thing that makes me leery is what I said to you before. I'm shocked that the market is down this week with all of the external stuff going on that was causing it to go down the week before. No?
Again, what was causing it to go down the week before? I think the market interpreted as specific to Mag 7s. I know everyone calls them hyperscalers now. And I think what happened yesterday was the market was deeming as specific to hardware. So they're just latching onto a story, and then that creates a little bit of momentum. The algos join in, and you have yourself a 1 week rotation, which is always Mag 7s against hardware.
Well, what I
Hardware against Mag
saw,
7.
listen, I'm telling you that if they rally the NASDAQ today, I'm not saying they will, it can get crazy because I'm telling you, I was watching trading earlier tonight. I mean, the NASDAQ, took in so much selling that I couldn't believe it. It was like blip, 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 over and over. And even when we're on this podcast, same thing. Blip, 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 blip. It's just complete and utter algorithmic selling. So it'll be interesting to see after the opening when, like listen, when Nasdaq is trading pre-open, there are no stocks. So there's no programs, there's no, it's just a bunch of maniac computers, battling like transformers. But once the stocks open, then you got true cash against that. Again, where's the straddle S&P today? That would be the interesting one to look at.
Yeah, checking on that. It was. I think it was like above 50 at the close yesterday.
Nah.
Market is up about 10 points, so we could be opening up at around 74.25. Yeah, checking on that.
74.20. If we're up 10, we went out at 74.11. So we're probably at 74.20. Okay.
74.20. Straddle is at unbelievably 37. 37 point straddle, 38 point
That's
straddle.
high. That's high.
That's
Higher
high.
than yesterday. So we'll see what today brings. Again, I'm telling you, my thought is that the macro, I know it's not Macro Monday, but the macro news for the week is shocking that the NASDAQ is shelled the way it's shelled with the macro news being what it is. And I don't know if
because oil dropped, you mean?
Well, I think oil dropped. I think that Trump obviously, is stuck in a corner. but he was wasting artillery bombing sand every day, and they're low on artillery, okay, which is a fact, okay, and they stopped bombing, and Iran stopped bombing, and supposedly they're talking, which is definitely much better than we were a week ago. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing of all time because it's not, but we're definitely better than we were a week ago. You had $91 crude. Now you have, is crude below 80? Crude's going down. Okay. I don't know where it's trading, but where's crude? I saw it was 81, but I don't know where it's trading now.
Crude is at 81.35.
Right. It's going to go below 80 on this move.
It went below 80 overnight.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, I think it's going to go below 80, and if things even get better, it's going to go lower. But even if it stays at 80, it's a lot better than 90, right? 91. So yes, is it high relative to what we're used to? Yeah, it's high relative to what you're used to. But I can tell you, sitting here straight away, I traded crude at $140. Okay, $140, and the economy was somehow fine. I'm just telling you, the economy was fine. So here we sit, junk tape. You just got to look for the smash. Like just, what's funny. You know how like you have young kids and they play video games and they watch video gamers. If you watch the Nasdaq future, it's like a video game. It literally is. It's like ring, ding, bing, ling, ring, ding all day long. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then the Dow and the S&P are stable. Like the S&P is so stable that it's unbelievable, and the Nasdaq is so unstable. It's why? Because they don't. No one's trading the S&P because they can make gazillions of dollars trading Nasdaq all day. Nasdaq's moving up and down. Yesterday moved probably 5% intraday, up and down and up and down. And the Qs on the year are only up like 8%, So it's very weird. We'll see what happens. I'm worried.
Here's a chart of some credit default swaps that I'm looking at, and look at these trend lines in credit. You have Google top panel, Tesla, Amazon, and then Micron down below. They're all higher and trending higher. The Mag 7s in particular, CDS on Mag 7s is going through the roof here. Google on its earnings report pretty much stipulated that they will spend their last dollar on capex in order to win the AI race.
My question for you is, I mean, you're looking at that stuff, and obviously, there's risk in everything. And I don't want to say, listen, they never thought Bear Stearns was going out of business. They never thought Lehman was going out of business. So things can go out of business. But if one Mag 7 stock actually didn't pay and went out of business, we'd be in, I'm not even going to call it a recession. It could be a depression. Okay.
Yeah, look, AI is too big to fail. That is a fact, and that's something that
AI. Listen to me. AI is in early. Like the funny thing is, you were like talking about Mag 7, and you're using a new name, hyperscalers. It's like it's a clown show, dude. It's like they just make shit up. I know AI is unbelievable. How about a little SpaceX right here? You like it at 110, 109?
I tried to get. I was short the thing from 180 down to 125, and then I tried to double Dutch at 125.
Well, I'll tell you this. Whenever they release
Double Dutch meaning like you score on one side, and then you try to.
You like that, huh? You like that.
That's like the best thing you taught. Out of all the things that I picked up from you, that one's my favorite.
Dude, Dutching is like skipping rope, baby. We're doing the double Dutch. That's you're skipping two ropes. But no, listen, that stock, I'm not saying it can't bounce a little. That stock's going a lot lower, crazy lower. And it's going to be the poster child for what they did to the public. And what they did to the public is they literally, JP Morgan is the main culprit, pumped this thing up. Why wouldn't they let the public make money and bring this at 700 billion? Why? Why? Maybe then the public could have made money, right? But no, they had to bring it at like a number that is so insane. And then they hype the customer, and the customer bought the opening on the IPO and then bought after the opening. And now they're not talking about it. And the unlock is coming, and it's a very big slug of stock. But you know, I'm literally not, listen, it's an algorithm. So you like I looked at the stocks this morning, and I'm telling you, other than now Nvidia is probably flat to up, who knows, but the only stock I saw down was Micron, and Micron somehow is running the United States stock market. How is that even possible? I mean, honestly, Eric, how is that possible? Like Micron, something that's not even real, that bid offer spread is $20 wide. A friend of mine's trading it. He's like, you can't even get in or out for, of 1,000 shares for $10.
Well, it doesn't matter because it's a big percentage now of the queue. So
It's a percentage, but it's not outweighing any of these others. And again, Nasdaq is down, it's not down a lot, 150, 170, whatever. Literally, I don't even see how it's down. Like, let's go through the freaking stocks and then we'll wrap up. Okay. Can you pull them up quickly? Like Amazon, is that up or down? I'm sure it's up.
Amazon is up 50 basis points. Meta is
Okay.
up 75. Tesla down. Microsoft up 1.5%. What's
Right.
the
So, like, that's what I'm trying to say. Where's Nvidia? Down 50 bips, 30 bips?
20 bips down?
Right. I mean, so
Micron down
hey,
6%.
what?
Micron is down 6%.
Right. There you go, dude. Like I've been saying, people are commenting in the podcast that I was calling this. I'm telling you, Micron, which makes no sense, is the entire stock market. It's like, it doesn't even make sense. Micron. I mean, come on, dude. Literally. I've been trading Micron for 40 years, 35 years. I mean, this stock, it's ridiculous. But anyway, we'll see if they unwind it today. But right now, it's buy SPU, sell NASDAQ. We'll see what the unwind looks like. We got earnings starting tonight for the week that are very, very, very big. Okay. And
Well, the one to watch tonight is Seagate.
and then we have the Fed, okay, which we'll talk about tomorrow because they're meeting 2-day meeting, right? The Fed, everybody thinks, or a lot of people think he's raising rates. I'm saying 100% not raising rates. And then what I think they're going to look for, which I don't believe they're going to get, Eric, is they're going to look for commentary out of this guy, like that's going to give away something, and they're not going to do it. They're not giving it away. So I think the market's going to be a little bit surprised that he's not going to give it away. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So
So
what do you think for today? What is there any? Are there any positions in your book that you want to share before we go?
no, I just am short upside. So I'm hoping we don't blow up to the upside. That's my position today. My position is far from the market, especially in S&P. But you know, straddle is high. I think the straddle is relatively high. So we'll see
I've been
what happens.
holding a put butterfly on the SPX that expires in late August. So again, I have bullish positions and I have bear. This is a bearish position that's expiring late August. So I have a 71.25, 7,000, 6,900, put butterfly 1 to 2 to 1 ratio, S&P 500. That just staying in my book. I'm just looking to add to that. I think we are going to visit the 100-day moving on the S&P again. I think the equally weighted index is like why are people
I
get like
thought
why are
you,
you getting
I
into it?
thought you thought we were going to be up today.
So for today, I have a call butterfly for today, 0 DTE. I'm looking for upside today as well.
All right.
But overall, I don't think this is a correction we're going to easily get out of. Again, you got to play both lanes, long and short, tactical.
Dude, all I can tell you is watching the Nasdaq, and I'm going to leave with this, is the sickest thing that I've ever seen. And I've been trading for 40 years. This is no human being, no person could ever do this. That's all I can tell you. No person. There is no human being, no thinking mind that is trading right now. Just so you know,
Okay.
there's nothing.
All right.
So you're guessing.
That's pretty
I'm guessing.
depressing.
Well, that's the facts. I mean, come on, dude. We're on the podcast. We're on the podcast.
Well, yeah. If you approach trading like I'm just going to be in a position because I'm right and the market is wrong, then yeah, it's impossible. But if
but the market makes you
lean
right.
if you lean on technicals, if you lean on speed, if you're in and out of positions every hour and a half, and if you have that kind of strategy working, you could make money here.
We're gonna leave with a laugh, dude. You're okay, dude. You're scalping Nasdaq futures for 30 minutes. Your head will get blown off. You'll be stopped out every time. I mean, come on. It's just no chance.
Well, my average on a futures hold is about an hour and a half, so it's not 30 minutes. A lot could happen in an hour and a half, my man.
I understand, but if you're using stops, okay, you're going to get stopped out.
Yeah, you have to be prepared to get stopped out.
But you're going to get stopped out all the time. I mean, we're going to open smash down now. We may rally, we may sell off. If you buy, and you're trading for an hour and a half, what kind of stop? 50 points in the queue in the Nasdaq future is a joke. Anyway, we're close to the opening. I wish everyone a great trading day today. Remember, computers are running the show. Good luck, everyone.